The International Association for Near-Death Studies presents NDE Radio, a weekly exploration of near-death experiences and similar encounters with the other side. Now, here's your host, Lee Witting.
And this is Lee Witting welcoming you once again to NDE Radio on behalf of the International Association for Near-Death Studies, and to hopes for a compassionate and understanding new year in 2017. Our guest today is Terry Willette, a near-death experiencer with psychic abilities and some unique spiritual experiences. Terry is another example of why there are no coincidences in life, since I was looking for the next guest for the show at the very moment I overheard her having a conversation about NDEs just a few feet away from where I was standing in the intensive care unit where I work. Terry Willette comes from a line of gifted ancestors with psychic abilities as well. For example, I can't remember if it was her grandmother or great-grandmother could read tea leaves, cards, and could see spirits. Along with her NDE experiences, Terry herself has had many encounters with the other side. For many years, she worked in hospital, pediatric, and adult intensive care units where she was in a position to advise people to surround themselves with light. Terry, welcome to NDE Radio.
Hi, Lee. Thank you.
It's good to hear your voice.
Yes, good to hear you too.
Terry, well, first of all, let me clarify. Was that your great-grandmother that could read?
Yes.
That's what
Yeah, she lived with us when I was growing up.
She must have been quite elderly.
Yes. She lived to be in her mid-90s.
Wow.
She did move in with my grandmother the last few years of her life, and then she ended up going to a nursing home. But she lived a full life.
That's great. Terry, please begin by describing your experience when you had pneumonia in your 20s and then your more recent NDE.
Yes. Well, in my 20s, I had a bacterial pneumonia. And I basically kind of put that out of my head. My husband's the one that reminded me of it. I was so ill. I had a temperature. I know when I went to the doctor, it was 105. And for, I think it was 9 days, they told me that I was in and out and seeing doctors, and I went to the emergency room. The temperature never, I don't think, went down below 102. They just couldn't break that fever. And
wow.
So anyway, I do remember laying propped up in my living room, and I remember seeing light beings coming to me. That's basically all the recollection that I have. I just was amazed to see the light beings coming to me. Reflecting back on that, I believe that they were the same ones or similar that came to me in the most profound, the one I had in 2014, the
yes.
experience. And I believe that they were there to comfort, to let me know that I was not alone. The love was so intense and is intense. We just have to open ourselves up because we are never alone. We are always supported and loved.
Yes. Well, tell us about the 2014 experience.
Okay. Well, what happened was it was kind of a culmination of things. I had back problems, worsening back problems. And that's why I say words are so dynamic. We have to watch what we say to people because they really are cast spells. I went to pain clinics. I just had increasing back pain, back problems, MRIs, epidural injections, everything. I was told by neurosurgeons that I did have a back surgery years before for a huge herniated disc, and that was corrected, and I was able to continue working. But this last time, it just was not getting better, and the doctor, one of the neurosurgeons, says there just really is nothing else we can do. And in my frame of mind, my husband has had cancer for years, and that kind of put me in a spiral. It kind of really shocked me, but the thing is that cancer is not a death sentence. Here he is 12 years later. He's doing well. And,
Good.
you know, he's not completely well, but he will be. I see that. And anyway, I just kind of gave up at that point. In 2000, I had to stop working because I just couldn't tolerate sitting, walking around, and doing all those things of every day. I had all I could do just to manage the pain. So then, let me see. I was like self-medicating with alcohol along with the medication. I just was desperate. I didn't know what to do. I did not really know what to do with myself. I just felt completely lost. So then what happened was I had stopped the drinking, and they increased the medication. So I had no problem whatsoever stopping the drinking. I thought at first it would be a problem, but nothing, no withdrawals, nothing. And I was very, very fortunate, and I believe that was my soul really stirring and helping me to awaken. And then the medication was increased at the end of it. I say the end, the beginning, I should say, the gateway to the beginning, the morphine. I was on everything you can imagine. They had given me morphine, Percocet. They had given me Lyrica. Valium, Ativan, you name it. I took it. I had it. And to the point where I was just not even wanting to function anymore. I was basically staying in bed. My family didn't know what to do. God bless them. I don't what I put them through in myself, but it's all a learning. There are no mistakes, I don't think. So anyway, it came to a point one day when I got out of bed, and I thought I fell on my face. My husband said that I was wedged between the bureau and the bed. I couldn't move, so he ended up calling the ambulance. He said, you just didn't know what to do. So when they came to pick me up, my blood pressure was, I was active. I feel like I was, if that's a correct term, actively dying. My body was in the process. I had lost my functions. They said the blood pressure was something like 50/30 and dropping. They were pumping me with Narcan. I don't even remember. I remember taking just one morphine pill, and then I don't really remember much after that. And that was like a half a week went by. So I wasn't on that long, but I just, I didn't really have any recollection of time. So when I get to the hospital, I still thought, because I asked my husband, I didn't realize at first what was going on. I didn't really know what was going on at that point anyway.
Right. Now, Terry, when you were in the ambulance, did you say you were out of your body?
I think, yeah. I know the minute that I got out of bed, I thought I was on the floor, on my face. But what I realized now was I was up above. That's why I felt like I was on my face, because I was observing from above.
I see.
Yeah, so then I did remember, I asked my husband when I got clear and everything, a month later or so, because I didn't remember the experience until like a month afterwards, after it took place, when I was remembering different things and things that are, I'm remembering even more every day now. So I remember that they had me in a room, and I remember that I was embarrassed because I had lost my body functions. I do remember that. But then after that, I just remember being above and observing. And I said to my husband, I said, I watched them put the central line in my neck. And I said, they brought me to a different procedure room, didn't they, for that? And he said, yes, but he said, you were never on your stomach. And I said, well, I was, because I watched them put the central line in. And that's when I first had the realization, wow, I wasn't in my body. I was watching. So,
yes.
And then from then, the doctor told David he didn't really know how things were going to go. I had IVs everywhere. I was admitted to the CCU. I did not get intubated. I think that at the point when they were putting the central line in, I don't know if I lost my respirations and they bagged me. I felt the whoosh when they and when I say whoosh, I literally heard and felt the whoosh, and that's when I went way up. I was not even near my body then. I was in a different space.
Okay, describe that space to us.
It was, and I'm getting more clear on that too every day, and they told me that I would remember as my vibration was lifted, was elevated, and that I could handle what I was, the gifts that I was given and the blessings and the healing that I received. I remember the big whoosh, and then I was amongst light beings. There were light beings, people. I say people, they were light forms, light people that, and I looked down at myself and I was all light, but I was still me. That's why we do continue. That's the important message, is that we do continue. And I remember colors now. The colors had life. There was a consciousness there. And I was being told I was being not only healed, but emotionally, physically, spiritually, and my soul was awakened at that point. I believe it was a soul stirring that, on a higher level, I was awakened. And when I was amongst the light beings, I remember them telling me things. I don't, New Age, they say downloads. I was given information, all kinds of information. I had knowing. I had a knowing. And love. There was so much love and compassion. No fear whatsoever. None. Just profound love that you just can't say with the words. The words love. It's a vibration. It's amazing. And
what different colors did you see? And were the light beings different colors? I was like prisms. I looked down. I remember looking down to see if I was me. I guess I'd say, and I was light prisms. And they were light. They were light. They were white. They were beautiful white beings. I remember blues. I remember but there's nothing that would even come close to the blues that I saw there. Greens, the healing greens, the lime, fluorescent, just beautiful. But the colors had, and the beings, they had compassion. They had love. They had, just so much. Words don't describe. So if the beings were white, were the colors emanating from you?
I don't know. The colors were everywhere. I was in a space. I don't even know where. I can't tell you. It wasn't a room. It wasn't. It was a space.
Yeah.
I guess, and it was just everything was there all at the same time. And I remember just recently, there's been so many energies coming in, wonderful, loving energies coming into our planet, and there is a great shift happening. We all are ascending in some way, and I know that's why I did return, because I'm not finished. I wasn't finished at that point. My soul did stir, awaken me. And, I remember even seeing at one point when I was there with all the light beings, and I remember seeing almost aspects of myself walking like off to and there was no direction, but yet I felt it was like towards the left. And then there was just with love and compassion that was kind of leaving me. And then I remember just a brilliant off to my right side. And as I turned, I saw higher aspects of myself, if that makes sense, coming into me. And I believe in that space of time, I realized that we are God's source creators. We have God within us. The love that I started to understand that I was always looking for outside has always been in. We have the Christ consciousness, I believe. We have angels, we have guides, we have everything all within us to help us. And all we have to do is quiet our minds to listen. After that experience, I remember I just wanted to get better. At one point, at first I didn't want to get better. I had to go to rehab, and then I had to go to brewer rehab and learn how to walk again. I couldn't walk anymore. I had been so deconditioned from not moving around. And and I remember the activities director there saw how I just was, because I hadn't remembered all this at that point.
Terry, let me take you back a minute, because you had said at one point in a conversation we had that you had memories of past lives.
Yeah.
And also of a concentration camp. Could you tell us a little about that?
Yes. Well, I do. I am remembering other lives that I experienced, and the whooshing sound was significant, because I'm going to go back to a few years back when I was in ICU. Happened when I was working when the World Trade Centers were hit, and I remember seeing it and thinking. Actually, I thought and I heard that whoosh, and I didn't make too much of it, but I felt those souls are the ones that are departing. They're fine. I know they're fine. I felt and heard that whoosh at that point when I saw the TV. And then when one of I did an Akash record with friends that had a class on that, and I had an experience of remembering being in a camp. And because I asked to see one of my most magnificent lives, where I was of the greatest benefit. And I was a woman, and I believe it was the last incarnation before this that they used me up. But I helped. I was able to do a lot of good and help people in the camp itself. And as far as hope and different things, I remember being at a trench. I remember the smells, the sounds. I remember being probably just skin and bones. I looked down at my body again. It's funny that I did look down at my body again, and I was just bones and skin hanging off. And I don't remember the fear, but I just remember the sounds, the moanings, the terrible smells, and the hundreds of bodies that were there, men, women, children. And then I remember hearing in my mind, we're wasting our bullets on these things, and then just a whoosh. I remember falling in and almost bouncing like a rubber doll. And then after that, I just remember coming back up, and I was light. And then I remember looking and seeing other beings of light coming up out of that gutter, that ravine, and we were looking at each other and communicating. For as bad as that was, it really wasn't that bad. And but that whoosh, that's all I can say. And I remembered that. That feeling of the continuation. You know, we do go on. We do go on. So.
Now, you had said something to me also about we can give strength to our past lives. To our past life incarnations. Tell me what your thoughts are about that.
My thought, since that recollection of that life, that woman that I was, I believe, she was so strong. And when I started remembering, I get strength from her, and I give her love and strength in return. I think that as far as linear time, we experience it here on Earth, you know, in our human bodies. But as far as time, I think that we live our lives, past, present, future, all simultaneously. I really do. It's a hard concept. It was hard for me to even try to wrap my mind around it, but it was more of an experiential thing, something that you feel.
The implications of that if something is timeless, does that mean that you are dying in the concentration camp right now?
It could be.
Do we live all our life? If we're living all our lives simultaneously, does that mean they're ongoing? And do we talk back and forth from this life to that life?
I don't. That's a good question. I think that what we put our focus on is what we experience. I think where our focus is where our consciousness is, where what we focus on. Because certainly we dream at night when we sleep, and I believe that we're just as awake in our dreams as we are sometimes in our waking life. I've had experiences where I've dreamt of relatives or friends that have passed, and it was a real visit. But when I wake up, and it's just, I think it's where our focus is. I really do. So I don't have really an explanation to that. It's just an experience.
Your great grandmother was able to see spirits, or did from time to time.
Yeah.
Have you had experiences like that yourself?
Yes, I have. Yes, I have, especially since 2014. But before that too. But then after 2014, I was just prompted to. I really wanted to get into more spiritual. I just felt drawn to spirituality, doing things, working with spirit, because we are spirit. And I just was more curious about developing. It's like a muscle. It's developing. I've been taking classes in mediumship development and psychic development, which I believe are different. The mediumship is when you connect to spirit and can give messages from that loved one to another, to someone here on the earth plane. Psychic abilities, I believe it's like seeing auras, seeing colors. That has been gifted to me. We all have the ability. There's nothing special about me that, anyone else can't do. We are very powerful. We just have to remember our power. We've been so programmed, I believe, to basically be dumbed down, programmed to how we should look, how we should act, how we should think, what we should believe. And through this, all of this, I've remembered that go inside, check in with ourselves. If you don't meditate, I've been meditating. That's when we really can connect to ourselves and to the God source within us. And we get the answers we need. We really do when we quiet our minds. The ego is being human, of course, and bless that part. But also there's something higher. There's something more powerful, and to allow that. And it's just reprogramming ourselves to who we really are. We're magnificent, powerful beings. We really, really are. We create our reality whether we know it or not. That's one thing. Another thing I have learned, that we are energy, and our thoughts are energy. And in our thoughts, we are creating what we experience. What we focus on is what we receive. I want to jump you back just briefly to
those, when you were having your near-death experience, and those beings of light that you looked at to the right were coming into you. Were they beings, or was it more like information? Was it a part of you, or was it something else?
I believe they were me. I believe they were
aspects of yourself.
Aspects, yes. I believe that we are multidimensional. I know we are multidimensional beings. And it was information also, but they were me. But they were higher. I don't know if there's any higher or lower. It's just I don't know. It was a feeling. It was a seeing and a knowing. Yeah.
Now, I know you've also given some thought to the difference between angels and aliens, which is an ongoing debate in the world, and especially in our world. Mm-hmm. What do you tell us a little about what you think about that?
Okay. I do believe that we do have star brothers and sisters. I think we'd be pretty naive to think that we're alone all in these gigantic universes that are around us. We have so much help and so much, there's so many benevolent beings that want to help and assist us, and I believe are assisting us at this time. I believe that even the highest angels, ascended masters, we all have that God spark, the prime creator, God source, whatever you want to call. We all have that creative ability within us, that we are light. We are light beings. We are angels. We are ascended masters. I do believe that we're all magnificent beings. It's just I think that we lose that. We come in like that, I believe. I think we come in as joyous, innocent, not innocent, just knowing beings, but then we get programmed, And
why do we give ourselves over to this life if we have so much more potential?
Because, as far as I think we have so much unlimited potential in these human bodies. I really do. I think remembering the magnificence, I don't know if it's called, I think of it as almost like an expansion, creating. We are co-creators. We are creators, plus we're all connected. So we're all connected and we're all creating, and there's no end to it. It's infinite possibilities. And I think we come here and wherever else that we plan on, that we choose to go, to expand, to create, but love is all. Love is all. That's all that, that's the greatest thing. Even Einstein told his daughter, he always thought that, the power of E equals MC squared was the highest of the most, powerful. And he said in a letter to his daughter that love is the greatest vibration and the greatest energy of all. And even quantum physics are proving that if we're not focused on something, then is it real? There's all kinds of different debates about creating our reality. And I'm here to play, and we sometimes get too caught up in the earth webs to even realize that we can pull ourselves up out of that, and we can just go with the magnificent remembering that who we really are and what our capabilities are, and they're endless. They're endless, and there is no death. There's just a shift in energy, but we are energy, and energy doesn't go away. And,
well, Terry, we are unfortunately out of time, and it goes quickly, doesn't it, when you're only a half an hour? Listen, I want to thank you, Terry, for sharing your experiences with us today. And to the listeners, if you'd like to listen again to this or any of our past shows, just go to our website at nderadio.org. For more information about the work of IANDS, check out that website, iands.org. And tune in next Monday, 11 a.m. Eastern, for more NDE Radio. This is Lee Witting saying thanks for listening.